Food was on my mind over the weekend as I was doing some inventing. Protein, as a matter of fact. Partly because this guy at work, he's a vegetarian, and he avoided eating the meat in the meat lasagna. And I asked him what kind of vegetarian. He says, well, he eats cheese and eggs and stuff like that. And somebody else kidded him about not having meat. But as I thought about it, it's like, well, meat is just protein, right? And when I was at the university, they taught protein's protein to the body. It doesn't care if it's meat protein or vegetable protein, or if it comes from a fish or if it comes from a nut. To the body, protein is protein. So you can see, all the little cells inside the stomach and various parts of the body, woohoo, protein! Yum, 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 protein, meat protein. Oh, really concentrated. Yum, 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 yum. Oh, vegetable protein. Well, I got to eat a lot of that to get the same amount of protein. But to the body, protein's protein, right? Whether it's meat protein or vegetable protein or nut protein. In a simplistic sense. But then I also remembered that in the Bible, it actually says that there's two different types of meats for human consumption anyhow. There's clean meats and there's unclean meats. So there's clean protein that comes from the sheep, and there's unclean protein, dirty fuel, that comes from, let's say, the dog, or the cat, or the bear, or the pig, whatever animal is classified as unclean protein. So when your body gets it, it goes, oh, protein! And it grabs it and it starts using it. It's like, oh, wait a minute. This stuff's filled with toxins. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to have to take some while to deal with this. Ooh, hey, Joe, come over here. Get the hazmat team. We got to clean this stuff out. Thought it was protein. It is, but it's all full of this junk and garbage. Let's get some filters in here, take this extra energy to process it and get it through here. Get rid of the fats, dump the fats, the toxins. Well, they dump them in the fats, and then the fats get washed, and it's like, and the other guy, he's sitting there like, whoa, I've got dandelion protein. Because there's protein in the vegetables. If you look up dandelions, there's protein there. Actually, if you look up stinging nettles, that's got one of the highest protein concentrations for a plant. It's like 20 to 40% protein, in a plant. And your body looks at, oh, protein! Gotta get a lot of it, but oh, no toxins in that, boy. Let's go on to other stuff. Ooh, look! Beef protein. Yum, yum, yum. Well, I wish they would have raised it free range, organic, and not given all the antibiotics, so you can get off on that stuff. It's how your body's got to look at protein, right? Based on what we know in science. Based on what we know from the Bible, And Jesus, he said, well, if you're ashamed of my words, I'll be ashamed of you. He said the law isn't done away with. And God even told Noah when he brought the animals on the ark, hey, I'm going to bring them to you in pairs, a male and his mate. But, there's 7 pairs of clean animals and 7 pairs of birds, but there's only 2 pairs of the dogs and cats and rats, because rats are unclean too. So classification goes way back to the time of Noah. And Jesus said, as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the end times. So when we're classifying our meats and we're classifying our proteins, in one sense, your body just looks at it, yeah, protein! But in another sense, you can have clean burning fuels and dirty burning fuels. So you can have clean burning proteins and dirty proteins, and they can be filled with toxins and poisons and whatever. So if you can get the organic, free range, wild kind of protein, hey, you're just better off. Your body doesn't have to take out the toxins, deal with the wastes. And if you realize how meat reacts to heat, and how vegetables react to heat, well, then you see how your body will deal with them. When I was working in a kitchen, if we cooked beef or, well, it's usually beef, sometimes we had lamb, and we had some pork too. People eat pork chops. And the meats behave differently, and they smell differently. It was most obvious with the seafood, because you get the cod and the perch, and you cook it and you bake it or you deep fry it, and the meat falls apart and it becomes flaky and it's easy to eat. Whereas the snails and the clams and the mollusks, you eat those and they're firm. If they firm up. I remember poking the little mollusks with a fork. It's like they went from really being slippery and slimy and just kind of slimy to they firmed up. I was like, wow, the meat, the unclean fish, behave differently under heat than the clean fish. So I know for a fact they behave differently. And I just know by faith that, God classifies one as clean and one as unclean. But your body just looks at it, oh, protein, until it starts to deal with the toxins and go through the extra steps of processing it. Which reminded me of honey, because the Bible says eat honey because it is good. It doesn't say, take the cane sugar and, refine it, or the beet sugar, hybrid the beet so you get more sugar and concentrate the sugar, refine it, boil it, whatever they do with it to get it out, remove the molasses and all the different parts from it and refine it like you refine cocaine, extract just a few of the parts from the plant, and then you have to filter it because you get so many rat hairs per pound, feces, and human beings are dealing with this stuff with knives and instruments and stuff like that, so you get a few bits and pieces of human being in it too. That's the refined sugar, and it's really cheap, and it actually functions in your body. It's quick burning kind of cocaine type of a reaction, whereas the honey, which is, they're both sugars, but they're structured differently. I was on the website here, and there's these people from, where is that? People from the College of Agriculture and Life Science from the University of Arizona. Is honey the same as sugar? Jennifer Capcio, Asakua Suzuki, and Nobuku Haguru. It's on the web. They go through this, how the composition of honey is two simple sugars, and how the refined table sugar is a complex of sugars, and the fact that the honey is easier for the body to break down, it starts breaking it down in the stomach, and the refined sugar, the table sugar that's from the vegetables, it takes your small intestines to start refining that. And I was talking to people who sell honey, and it says, yeah, well, your body actually absorbs the honey slower, at a slower rate than it absorbs the refined table honey from the honey, not the sugar, from the vegetables. So they're different, they're structured differently. Your body absorbs them differently, it absorbs them at a different rate, and it also absorbs them in different parts of your body. One is absorbed in the stomach, the other is in the small intestine, but they're both sugar. But the Bible says eat honey. It doesn't say eat the other ones. In fact, if you go by what God said in Genesis about, what God has put together, don't let man take it apart. One could apply that not only to marriage, like God says, but you could apply that to other things. There's some things God put together, you just don't take it apart. So refining the sugars out of the vegetables just simply may not be the best thing. In fact, if you talk to medical doctors today and nutritionists, yeah, you don't need a lot of sugar. Dentists say it's bad for your teeth. It's just thoughts about health, whether you're going to do what the Bible says or just go about and do what the rest of society is doing and thereby receive the rewards that the rest of society is having with poor digestion and poor health. Yeah, my thoughts on food recently. Enjoy.